Hello everyone, this is your girl Jenna, and today we have part 2 of why basically marriages are falling apart today. Alright, so you know what to do. Thumbs up this video, subscribe if you have not already, and make sure you cut on all so you can get notified about all the videos that we post. Okay? So hopefully, if you're watching this, you've seen part 1, okay? And if not, you can always go back and watch part 1. So, on the last video, I left off on do not expect the same vibe that you give out. And what does that mean? So I was telling a story of, I used to, and I still do, I text my husband, little love text, if you will, okay? And I used to be sensitive when I was a little younger. It's maybe 5-7 years ago. And I would expect him to do the same. Well, my husband has a different personality than me. That's why God put us together. We're not the same, but we work, if you will. And so that's for anyone else. Don't let anybody tell you that, oh, he or she has to do the exact same thing as you, the exact same time as you, and if not, then you guys are not compatible. No, more than likely those people are not married. They probably haven't had a relationship more than 5 days. All right, and that's another thing too. Be careful of who you tell your business to, which is something that celebrities get paid for. They get paid to tell their business to the world because it keeps them relevant. But marriage is something that is sacred. And so when you allow people like myself to know about your business, everyone is going to chime in and give their opinions. And sometimes that is going to kind of cloud your better judgment. All right. And regular folks like us, we can't really handle that type of vibe. So it's best to talk about your relationship to someone who can honestly help you and not make it worse. All right. So yeah, when I was younger, I used to give text and I used to feel, some type of way when my husband wouldn't do the same. And so I had to just basically work it out in my head to say, you know what? My husband shows his love for me in a different way. And just because he doesn't do a certain thing for me does not mean that he doesn't love me. Okay? And so you have to understand that. Sometimes they'll pick up from what you do and they try to return it. But for the most part, they're going to communicate to you and how they feel in their own way. All right? So I hope you guys got that point. All right? And if it's really something that's bothering you, then you have to communicate. Never, don't keep it internal. And these things, of course, are not easy to do because one thing about when you're communicating to your partner, okay, and this is something that I heard Tia Mowry say, that she understands that she sometimes can be mean. Everyone can be mean, especially those first words that comes to your mouth or to your brain and comes through your mouth when you're angry. Is usually mean words. They're mean. You have to think. That's why meditation, breathing, and praying works in a relationship, okay? It works for self. Because remember, a marriage is two people, two strangers coming together and becoming one. That's what marriage is. I have my own upbringing. I come from a 2-parent home. My grandparents raised me from the age of 13 to 21. Got me just in time to give me these home values. All right. And my husband comes from a blended home where his mom was a single mother, but he was also raised by his mom, his grandmother, and his uncle. Totally different two homes, totally different two age ranges. So I came in a relationship with my values. He came in a relationship with his values. I came in a relationship with my own baggage. He came in a relationship with his baggage. And we had to come together young, and work these things out. Marriage is never a cakewalk. It's always something. When you get past that honeymoon phase, and everyone's honeymoon phase is different. Some people never reach the honeymoon phase. Some people stay in the honeymoon phase longer than others. But the honeymoon phase goes in cycles. Okay? And the longer you're with someone, you'll know when you're in your honeymoon phase and when you're in your battle phase, when you're in your neutral phase, and when you're in your upturn phase. Oh yeah, all of that is in your marriage. And you have to really be strong for all of them. Okay? Now, marriage has a part where you have to have your time together. Outside of work, outside of children, outside of family, you have to connect physically, mentally, and spiritually. Marriages will fall apart if you don't have that connection. And that connection is not a forever connection. That's a connection that you have to work on daily, not monthly, not yearly, not weekly, daily. One thing someone told my husband and I is, when you wake up in the morning, make sure you give each other a kiss in the morning. Every morning kiss. There was a day or a time my husband and I were so busy, we would go days without kissing. We would go days without just being husband and wife, gathering and basically going back to those feelings that we had 20 years ago. Yeah. And so it was at that time that we had to become spiritual beings at that time. The physical connection had fizzled out for a little bit because we were going through some things. We were caregivers. Okay? Yeah, we weathered caregiving for 11 years, taking care of an ailing parent. Remember those grandparents I was talking about that I was raised? Yes, well, we were taking care of my grandfather for 11 years. It was like taking care of a child, but it wasn't a child, it was an adult. He was an adult with his own feelings and his own needs. And when you're taking care of a parent, that can really it can really ruin or make it heavy, make your marriage heavy. And the only thing that got us through at that time was God. You had to have that spiritual connection as well. In fact, the spiritual connection is very important. If that is not there, the marriage will not work. I can stand on that. It's not going to work in the traditional right. No, it's not. A lot of marriages in which we see in celebrities, we say, oh, it's a business marriage. It's a business relationship. Oh, it doesn't look real. A lot of us, we can see it. You can kind of tell. We don't know everything, but you can kind of tell, right? Well, let's bring it to regular world. You can tell in your real life who is happy together and who is not. And 9 times out of 10, or 10 out of 10, is because there is no spiritual connection. That is so important because it gets you through when the physical aspect is gone, when the financial part is going through something. That spiritual connection gets stronger. That's one thing you have to understand. Spiritual connection is the glue, is the bones of the relationship. You don't want to build a relationship solely on all like good and happiness and material things, because what is happiness? You don't make me happy. First of all, no one can make you happy. Do not get with your spouse feeling like they are going to fill a void that they never put there. I heard Tia say, oh, I finally love myself. Well, you probably came with your husband with already those problems and they were never solved and they grew over time. And now that you're in your 40s, it has become unbearable for you to deal with that void. So you have to step back. And that's what's going on with their relationship. There are so many ups and downs right now. They are communicating now. I just read that they're saying I love you under each other's posts. They may just needed a break. Right? A mental break. So you don't have to have a mental break by having a divorce. You can have a mental break in the home, having your relationship intact, but have a mental break. That's when prayer comes in. But like I said, you cannot get with someone expecting them to fulfill you and to fill voids. It does not work that way. I myself do not look at my husband to fill me, to fix me, to mend me, and to make me happy. I told him that one day. He's like, you can't make me happy. I'm not going to even lie. That seed was planted when I saw Will Smith, and he made a video of he and Jada were, you know, at odds, and she was not happy. And he said, you know what? I'm going to just let you go off and get your happy. You can't make somebody happy. You can't bring them joy. I love the song Anita Baker, You Bring Me Joy. It's beautiful. It's sultry. But no, I don't feel like a partner can bring you joy. Because joy comes from God. Only God can give you joy. God can give you happiness. And I come to this conclusion or this opinion because I know others may not agree. Because I have tried to put my happiness into things and it doesn't work. When that thing decays and wears away and passes away, where is my happiness? When you've gone through loss of family, loss of money, like loss of finances, loss of objects, you learn not to put your happiness into those things. I don't want to put that pressure on my husband to make him feel like he has to make me happy. No. I came to him with my own problems. I'm in my 40s now and I'm still working through them. And he's doing his own thing too as far as that. And then I bring what I have to the table. Again, Proverbs 31 tells us women how to be wives and how to be women. Okay, so always refer back to Proverbs 31. And I'm sure it's a verse in there on what men and husbands are supposed to do. One thing I do with the Bible is I Google terms. So what I'll do is, I'll ask Google, what does the Bible say, or what does God say about how a husband is supposed to be? And they will, 9 times out of 10, pop up some scriptures, and I'll go to my Bible and I'll look it up. That's basically how it is. And anybody can do that. That's my little tidbit with you guys, because a lot of us, we wait for the church, we wait for the pastor to give us everything. We're supposed to be always seeking and meditating in the Word. If you're meditating in the Word, divorce is not an option. The only time divorce is an option is when the covenant has been broken, when they cheat. When you cheat, you've broken the covenant. You've broken the one, you've broken it. And at that time, yeah, God will, basically says, oh, you've broken the covenant. But other than that, you have to work it out. You're supposed to work it out. If you go into a marriage, and a lot of celebrities do this, because they have the convenience of money, lots of it, is they go into it with prenups, which is already going into it as saying it will fail. Us regular folks, that's one thing we do. We go into marriage, we don't have prenups. We're not going into it if we fail. We're going in it for forever. If you start a marriage out thinking it's not going to work, then more than likely it's not going to work. You have to go into a marriage knowing this is it. This is my forever home. This is my spouse. We're going to work it out. That's it. That's old school values. But hey, old school outlives everything. Okay, that ain't going to never die. Okay, so yeah, that's how you have to do it. So when you guys are at odds, and those times will happen, you have to speak, clearly. You have to be respectful. Throw out the expletives, guys. At no time are you supposed to talk down to your man. Your man is not supposed to talk down to you. You're two adults. Act like it. Marriage is not for the weak. Marriage is not for children. It's for adults. Adults does not mean that, oh, you know it all. But at one point in time, you have to understand that, yeah, it's a business. I looked at my husband one day and I said, you know what? My marriage is my business. It's a business. I know that sounds kind of cold and it sounds kind of disconnected, but that's how I look at it. I look at my husband as my partner. If I have a problem, if I have a gripe, if I have a bone to pick with him, like my dad used to say, I have a bone to pick with you. I talk to him about it. I can't internalize it, because what it does is when you internalize a gripe, sometimes it's small, like a little seed. And then as it stays in our system, it grows, it festers. I don't know if you guys know about the Addams family, but it was Uncle Fester. And if you look up the word fester, it's something that sits around and gets worse. I've never looked up the term, but it's kind of that's what it is. And so that's what happens when you have an issue with your partner. it festers. Your mind starts to play tricks on you. The devil will start to have tools to play with you as well. Because what does the devil come to do? Kill, steal, and destroy. That is what he's here to do. That is his only job and his only mission. Don't look at him for anything else. Don't make bargains with him. Don't listen to him. Ask God to give you the strength to deal with him. Because for the devil to mess with you, of course, he has to ask for permission. Because God took the keys away from the devil. But he has to ask for permission to mess with you. Okay? Because to get us stronger, we have to go through stuff. A marriage cannot get stronger without going through something. And cheating is not one of them. Cheating, and shout out to all the people who have been able to weather cheating. That is your choice. But yes, you have to go through something. I've gone through health issues. I've gone through money issues. I've gone through loss of family. And my husband has gone through all of those as well. And through those storms and caregiving, oh my gosh, through those storms, our marriage has become stronger. My marriage ain't come stronger with us saying I'm going to Disney World. No, and my marriage has not come stronger with us, coming into $10,000. No, in fact, those times sometimes weakened it because we've lost faith of who really keeps this bond together and this marriage together, which is Christ. Okay, guys? Looks like it's going to be a part 3 to this, guys. Yes. If you loved it, leave me a comment. Let me know how you guys are liking the series. If I see some likes on the video and some comments, of course, I'll keep going. You'll get a part 3. So this, basically how this video does, determines on whether you guys get a part 3 of why marriages don't work today. All right, guys, you take care. May your marriages be blessed, and I'll see you next time.